In this session, we are going to explore creating a standards-aligned assignment, inserting an assignment into content, and grading an assignment. Let's take a look inside of the iLearnNYC Brightspace platform. So in order to create an assignment, the assignment lives within the My Assignments toolbar. So within here, you have 4 options. Today, we're going to focus on this assignments. So if you think about it in your traditional classroom, you think about when students are handing in something, this would be considered an assignment. So if you click on assignments, and then you click on new assignment, the only thing you have to do is you have to create a title for your assignment. Notice, just as in many other places within Brightspace, you have this full HTML editor. Again, you can insert a video, you can insert a link, you can insert, any sort of resources that you need that you would like embedded within the assignment, but you could also just leave it plain text as well. Okay, I just provided simple instructions for my students. So with this assignment, I have an attachment. So I'm going to find that attachment on my computer. So I will go in and I'm going to find that assignment. Okay, once I have it, once it's uploaded, I can just click on add and notice it's sitting right here. Okay, so now let's go into the specifics that we have here. So we have an individual assignment or a group assignment. An individual assignment means just that one student will submit one assignment. A group assignment means that if you have a group set up, one student that's in a particular group can submit for the entire group. Okay. Submission types, you have multiple types that you can submit. So a file submission is when a student's actually uploading something to the assignment. A text submission just means that they're able to type in their response underneath the question. Okay. And the other 2 would be things that would happen in your classroom. So for this assignment, I'm just going to click on File Submission. And now we leads us to the files allowed per submission. So you have the option of having unlimited files being able to be accepted. So when I think about that, I think about the writer's process and thinking about going from first draft to final draft and showing the progression from those drafts. And that's something that I would like to have as an ELA teacher. But sometimes you just want to have one file, which is the case in this particular assignment. So I'm going to select on one file. And then based on your answer, as far as how many submissions you'd like to have, this might help you decide how many of those do you want to keep? Do you just want to keep the last one? Do you want to keep all of them, or are you just going to allow one? The notification email is if you'd like to be notified when a submission gets posted into the assignment. Okay. Category, this is an organizational system. So I would definitely recommend creating categories, or else your assignments are going to be difficult to find when you start building multiple assignments. So if you do not have a category already, you'll just click on this new category, type in your category name, and then you will click Save. So I'll just make this one the final project for the year. So once I create a category, they will all be in this dropdown. This has to do with the dot, so I'm going to select that as my category. Score out of is how many points is this assignment worth, whatever value you'd like to give to that. The grade item is if you would like to use a grade book within Brightspace. You don't have to. You can just have your grades sit within the assignment, or you can kind of send them to your grade book. That's up to you. If you'd like to do that, you could do new grade item. You also have the option of creating and using rubrics within here so that you can grade assignments based on a rubric. And the last 2 I would leave as the default. The annotation tools has to do with that while you're grading, you have access to tools which I will show you in a little bit. Okay, what you'll also notice, I've now scrolled up to the top, you also have the ability, and on many screens in Brightspace, this is where your different categories within that assignment will sit. So now we have restrictions, and restrictions has to do with due date and availability and also release conditions. So due date, when you create your assignment, you can create it with a due date, which will make, you know, projects late if students don't have them in on time. You also have the ability to create a start date further out from when you're creating it. So perhaps you're creating this assignment at the beginning of a unit, but you want your students not able to see this assignment until they've gotten to a specific point in the curriculum. And you can have that ability to select that start date later on. You also have the ability to put an end date on it so that once the assignment is past due, you know, students won't be able to submit. Okay. Release conditions have to do with their if-then statements. So we're not going to get into it in detail here, but the idea that you don't want students to see this assignment until they've done X, Y, and Z. And you can create those release conditions based on that. There are a multitude of ways that you can set these up. And we'll take a look at that a little bit later on. Okay. Then here, just as in content, you can align your content to standards. You can also align your assignment to a standard. So if I click on Add Standard, once I have them imported into my class, I can just go in and select which ones this assignment aligns to, okay? And then once I'm finished, I just have to scroll to the bottom, and then I'm going to align the standards. Okay, and then it will tell me that my standards align directly to this activity, and it will be a compilation of the 4 that are here. Once I'm finished, hit close. Okay, and now what we can do is we can go into our content. Okay, and if I select right here, I can add existing, and I can click on assignment. Because I've already created that assignment, it will be in my list of final assignments. So I'm going to click on the dot final assignment. And whenever you create something in your unit, it will be automatically put to the end of your curriculum path. So you can simply take it to the left and you can drag it up. But since this is the final project within this unit, I am going to leave it at the bottom, okay? The other thing, notice that when you bring something in to the content, it defaults to be hidden so that students do not see it. In order to turn that on, you just have to click on the hidden and notice that that eyeball is no longer there. So it is visible to students, okay? So the last thing we're going to take a look at is how do we assess students? How do we grade these assignments when they're turned in? So let's take a look. We're going to go back into my assignments. Okay. And what you'll see here is that all of your assignments are listed out in this chart. So we have this new submissions column. And notice I have a 1 in each of these. So I have 1 assignment that I have yet to mark. Completed is 3. Evaluated is 2, and feedback published is 1. Just so you have an idea, and I'll discuss these in a few minutes. So I'm going to click on this 1, and if there were 7 that I have not yet assessed, that would be there as well. So notice that I have my question, my assignment prompt would be at the top, and my students, this is a text submission, so the student just had to answer 3 things that they would like to try this year. So the student would like to read more, to work on my math skills, to be a better friend. So then I also have on this right-hand side, I have my, if I aligned it to a rubric, I would be able to grade it across the rubric. I could also create or associate a rubric right from within this grading portal. Okay, I can give this student a score. I love these goals, write my little comments. Notice I also have the ability, I could actually provide video feedback or a picture. You know, perhaps I'm, you know, a fan of Bitmojis and you know, and I'd like to kind of sticker the student's assignment. I can do that right here. The other thing that you have the option to do is to save the draft of the grading, or I can publish it. Saving the draft means that the student will not get their score even though you've scored it. So perhaps you're kind of scoring to try to keep up with what's being handed in, but you don't want the students to get their score until all the students, or at least until the due date has passed. So you can kind of just grade as they're being submitted, and then you can save that draft so that students don't receive their grade. If I had any more assignments within this assignment, I would be able to toggle to the next students just by clicking here. Okay, but I'm going to click on back to assignments because I noticed that I have one more that has not been graded, and I'm going to click on it here. Okay, this one, notice it's an attachment, so if I just click on it, it's going to open up in the field. And these are the annotation tools that we were talking about. So we could annotate using a pen, using a Post-it note, using a text box, however, you know, you feel comfortable annotating on top of the document, as well as you have that same feedback menu over here. So, you know, perhaps you give the score. Notice again, you have these same fields available to you. You know, you might want to direct the student that they need to, you know, rewatch the reading of the dot. So then you can insert a hyperlink right to that part of the content, or, you know, you might want to have them referencing like how to write a complete sentence, or whatever it is, part of your feedback. You can actually be very, very specific in here in what your students need. This one I'm going to publish just so that we can see the difference. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my assignments. And now I'm going to look at this chart one last time. So notice I have no more new submissions here. And I have one feedback published from before. And then notice this one, I've graded 3 and I've had 3 published because all of those have been sent back to the students. All right, so this is basically, we went through today how to create an assignment, how to align it to standards, how to insert it into your content, and finally how to grade an assignment. If you have any further questions, please visit our website at www.iLearnNYC.doe.org.